Welcome back to the show. The 10th Annual Alive Expo is a one-weekend, two-day event that is packed with interactive demos, live health lectures from industry leaders, workshops, and kids' activities the whole family can enjoy. One of the key components of the weekend is the health and wellness. Joining me now is Cheryl Burdett from Progressive Medical Centers. Dr. Burdett, thank you for being on the program.
Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about the importance of your role here in the Alive Expo, and what do you try to accomplish at this expo?
Really getting the message out that there is a myriad of ways that we can approach health, and it's not only through pharmaceuticals. And in fact, the most important ways to approach health are things that we can do for ourselves. Foods we choose to eat, water we choose to drink, and exercise that we choose to do to keep ourselves healthy.
What kind of treatment do you offer at Progressive Medical Centers?
We offer holistic styles of treatments, and some things you'd be very familiar with, the same physical exam and blood work, but then going a step beyond and looking at things at a deeper level, not only looking at blood work for a pathology, but for a process that might eventually become a disease. So working to figure out what's happening in your body before you're struck with something that's harder to reverse.
And one thing you have a heavy focus on too is the thyroid.
Yes, absolutely.
Can you tell me about that and why this is something that people should know about?
You can't stumble through the research without finding data about how it's important to maintain a normal body weight, how it's important to maintain close to even the weight that we graduated from high school with. And if we can do that, we are 80% less likely to have things like high blood pressure or diabetes, or of these other what are called comorbidities, even things like cancer. However, many of us have gone out and changed our diet and increased our exercise and not seen the outcome that we would hope for. There is another factor, things like the thyroid that control metabolism. And there are natural things that we can do about it. It is not just you're stuck in place or there's a medication that you have to take. There are many natural things that we can do to improve thyroid health and ultimately improve health and wellness in general.
Such as?
Such as there are key nutrients that the thyroid needs, things like tyrosine and iodine, and minerals, things like selenium that we can get through Brazil nuts, or zinc that we can get through pumpkin seeds. So there's all kinds of ways to power pack the diet to make sure we don't end up with a condition.
And these are things that you should have in your regular diet, like every week, do you believe, or?
You need to get the right amounts of these things to maintain normal levels of minerals. And so if you're going through a mental list of what you've had in your diet, say yesterday, and it started with a trip through the drive-through and maybe picking up something on the way out of work and then throwing something in the microwave as quick as possible, you can see how we might get into a nutritionally deficient state that can set us up for problems either now or in the future.
Wow, it's so important to have this to keep your thyroid healthy, so that you are healthy, right?
It controls weight, it controls metabolism, it controls how we think, it controls how we feel. We can be depressed, we can lose hair, we can have all kinds of bowel problems. It's a master regulator for what's happening in the body, and unfortunately, the way standard of care evaluates it, by their own admission, places like the Journal of Endocrinology, they miss up to 50% of the population that's suffering from fatigue, weight gain, headaches, and other issues.
And this is obviously something you all will be educating at the Expo. How long have you been involved with the Expo and getting this message out?
I've been involved with the Expo for 10 years since its inception, and I've also been at Progressive Medical for 10 years, and I thrive there because it's an integrative environment where we combine medical docs, osteopaths, naturopathic docs, acupuncture, chiropractors, all under one roof, a very collaborative effort to bring a different style of care to patients.
I would imagine too, some of these things you talked about that your body needs, or your thyroid may need, you would probably be able to find there at the Alive Expo, right?
Absolutely. We're going to talk to you about how you might be feeling, symptoms that you're having, get an idea of the person in front of us, and then from there recommend particular interventions or blood work or just an appointment to sit down where you'll spend an hour with our physicians, and they'll really dig in deeply to figure out your personal history, your family's history, what you're eating, what you're doing day to day, and how we can make you healthier.
What is one thing that we can do right now to improve our health?
Well, the go-to is to just make sure you're getting more vegetables in the diet. However many you're getting, if next week you can add one more, then there's not a diet book that ever says there's anything wrong with increasing vegetables in the diet. You see squabbling about other things, carbs, fat, etc., but more vegetables in the diet is a go-to.
Well, are you talking about like fresh vegetables, or do canned vegetables count too?
You know, fresh is going to be more optimal, but if the choice was to drive through McDonald's or to warm up some broccoli that was in the freezer, I would pick the broccoli in the freezer.
You're always better off doing that, right?
Yeah.
That definitely will mean better health for you. And final thing, anything else we need to know or that you might share at this year's Expo?
I think that it's just important that people know that they are not genetics stuck in place. Just as much as we have a genetic code every day, our environment washes over that to decide whether or not we're going to express health or express pathology. We're not stuck in place. There's a myriad of things that we can do to stay healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Cheryl Burdett, thank you with Progressive Medical Centers. Great information and good luck out there at the Alive Expo. When we come back, we are showing you one of the world's smallest water filters. This is really cool. You don't want to miss this. Join us here shortly on Public Affairs on Peach.